Getting about this. Thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So let's go ahead and talk about the new Klock Werks FXRT Fairing. This was released within the last, I say 6 weeks, 2 months. I say 2 months, 6 weeks. Fairly new. We all know Klock Werks. They've been making awesome accessories and windshields. They're mostly known for windshields, so they have their own FXRT fairing. And I've been getting a lot of questions about it since I have a full breakdown of what is it FXRT, what's open back, what's vented, what's closed back, the materials, fiberglass, carbon fiber. I have a video on just all of that stuff if you guys need to know exactly, what is this, what does that mean, what is open, what's vented, what's closed. You could check out that other video, that other FXRT fairing. This is just on the Klock Werks because I've been getting questions about it. And when I went to the dealership this weekend, I was once again, they mentioned the Klock Werks FXRT fairing. So based off of some of the feedback or just one person in the Facebook group, this is by far, I guess, the best bolt-on FXRT fairing. You guys know my Dominator took me quite a few tries to get it to fit properly. I had to add spacers, I had to shift stuff, I had to add spacers on some of the brackets to get the lower bracket to fit right. So not to get off the topic too much, but based off of some of the feedback in the Facebook group, this one by far seems to be the easiest to install. As far as fitment, it's high quality. I guess the overall primer and the build and everything else is, I guess it's top grade. So there's a reason why this thing is by far the most expensive option out there. Okay, so for $2,000, I got my fairing, the lowers, and the LP6 bracket about a little bit over $2,000. So I got the full kit. I got the top and the lowers, the fairing and the lowers. I also mentioned there's some other manufacturers out there that you could get fairing and lowers for about $1,100 if you get it from TCMT. So anyways, it really depends on you. Okay, do you want to spend I'd say maybe a few hours? I don't think so, a few hours. I mean, it really depends. If you know what you're doing and you know where to kind of add the space and stuff like that, you will have to modify some of those other pieces, but you could outweigh, or you could weigh your choices. Okay, you want to pay an additional $600 or an additional $500 so you don't have to spend time trying to adjust it, trying to fix it, trim it, sand it down, stuff like that. Based off of, like I said, the feedback, there is no trimming with this piece. Everything's fits, bolts in nicely. It's kind of like one of those, you install it the first time and it sits right the first time, which is it's neat. My own installation, like I said, it took me about 3 or 4 times of installing it to kind of get the hang of it. You guys can see my videos, what I did. You guys can have an idea of what you might have to do if you decide to save yourself $500 to $600. But you know what, and in all honesty, I don't even think it's really $500, $400 off, because you are getting their flared windshield. It's a 9-inch smoked tint windshield, which is, it gives the overall look of the bike a nice custom look to it. So I really like this FXRT windshield from Klock Werks. It's got that flared windshield. Like I said, it's a 9-inch piece, and it looks, like I said, it looks really solid with the fairing and the windshield. It just really gives it a custom look. Now, looking at, of course, what you have with these other options, it doesn't look, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think the windshield with the fairing looks that great. That was one of the reasons why I went with the Dominator, because it has that cutout on the top. It looks a little bit more sleek, in my opinion, and it makes it look a little bit better, I believe, compared to this and the and this windshield. I mean, I would much prefer having this flared windshield, but you know what? To each their own. Okay, it depends on the person. Some people just like it like this, plain Jane. You know, like I said, the reason why I went with this was the windshield. The cutout had, you know, had a little bit more flair, a little bit more riz, in my opinion. And of course, it was, you know, it wasn't that expensive. And I was also thinking about, if I was going to get one of these, I was definitely going to go with the Klock Werks windshield. And this kit, it includes this. So not only are you getting a better quality, you're also getting a better bracket, and you are getting that FXRT, that flared windshield. I'd say if you're in the market and you're buying, you know, one of the other windshields, you know, like this, or maybe like this, and you're planning on getting the flared windshield from Klock Werks, I don't know, I'd say you probably should just consider getting the Klock Werks. All right, but you know, if you're someone that has a little bit of time and you have a little bit of knowledge on where to adjust and where to trim, then you know what, I think this is just as good. You know, you can save yourself quite a bit of money, you know, getting one of these, of course. And you could always select which one you're looking at. Softail, you have Fat Bob. You know, there's different options out there, but you can see the overall build on these are, you know, they're pretty much up, you know, kind of, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have firsthand experience with any of these other pieces. All right, the only one that I know 100% that I've looked at and worked on myself is the Dominator FXRT, and it's far from perfect. All right, I've had multiple people reach out to me on Instagram complaining about the build. I mentioned their windshield on the glass, or the headlight cover was missing the drill points. Anyways, getting back on point, yes, there was complaints. There's still issues with the mounting on this one. I don't know if Dominator has visited or they've remanufactured the bracket or anything like that. The lower bracket still has some fitment issues. The actual bracket itself, you don't see any images here, but if you have a lowrider S, or if you have inverted forks, which means you have a wider fork clamp with the current bracket, you can't lock your fork. You can't lock it because you don't have full tilt of your front wheel because of the bracket with the Dominator FXRT. I also mentioned the fitment on the windshield, the holes. I mean, the Dominator FXRT is really a one-off piece. Other accessories don't really fit it. It's an odd piece. Now that I've been trying to add, you know, more accessories to it, that's what I'm finding out. So going back onto the Facebook group favorite right now, based on price and quality and the way it fits, there has been a few folks mentioning that this bracket with the FXRT fairing, supposedly it moves and it shakes, and there's a little bit of play when you're riding. So like I said, I don't have first-hand experience with these other pieces, but my Dominator does not shake, does not move, nothing. It's a solid piece, and it mounts, you know, quite nicely. You can see the way this one looks. This one sits a little bit high. You know, from my opinion, I think it sits a little bit high, and it sits a little bit too far away from the fuel tank. But that's just me. You guys can look at the FXRP, sorry, at the FXRT from Klock Werks. You can see how it's, you know, it's a tighter fit. It looks a little bit, you know, it sits a little bit closer to the tank, a little bit lower. I really like the way this one looks. All right, look at that. It's a little bit, you know, cleaner in my opinion, but like I said, it really depends on the person. Some of these fairings and these brackets, they sit high, they sit low, they sit a little bit further away from the fuel tank like this. You know, my Dominator fits really close to the tank, and the fitment, it looks really good, but like I said, it's got a few issues as far as you know, the build quality. They're 3D printed parts. People have mentioned that to me. Some of the screens on the Dominator they've been shipped broken, and like I said, the windshield cover itself, with the holes where it mounts wasn't drilled out. And you know, people reach out to them, they reply. There is some customer service, but based off of the follow-ups that I get, they never do anything about it. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be a little bit, you know, a little bit cautious about dealing with Dominator if you know, if they're still doing things as I've been told. So I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comments what do you guys think as far as the the placement of the fairing. Right here, look at that big gap. It looks nice overall, and of course just wanted to touch upon another thing, the fitment of this one. You can see that the windshield, it matches up with this edge on the FXRT. This is the JD Customs. Like I said, this is by far one of the favorite of the FXRT Fairing Group. And you could also see on this one as well, same thing. It fits perfect. On my Dominator, there's a gap at the very end, and of course you would also have to drill an additional hole for the flared windshield if you do decide to go that route. If you do want a flared windshield on your FXRT fairing, you will have to, of course, add or modify the fairing, because the Dominator doesn't really quite fit with the other windshields. Okay, it is what it is. And of course, I also have the TCMT. Already brought it up. Price wise, this is by far the cheapest, and a lot of people in the Facebook group are happy with this fairing. Now, of course, there will be, like I said, some modification. I don't know if they've improved anything or anything like that, but a lot of the people that buy this fairing, they're completely happy with it. I only wish I had some images to share with you guys today, but there's a lot of folks in the Facebook group that have a lot of images of this TCMT fairing. Like I said, a lot of folks in the Facebook group have the TCMT fairing. So you guys could leave your comments down below. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them. By far right now, the Klock Werks option, they have a lot of different options right here for mounting. You can mount it on the Road King, Dyna, the FXR, and then look at this right here. You have a Sportster. They also have a bracket for Sportster, and pretty soon they're going to be adding one for the Indian Chief and the Springfield. That's going to be a little bizarre, seeing this Harley fairing on an Indian bike, but hey, it's coming soon. And then of course you also have one for the 2004 and 2021, which is the EFI Sportsters. They also have a bracket coming soon for that. And the overall bracket itself, if you guys want to take a look at it, I think so far it looks pretty high quality. This is for the M8 Softail. This one mounts just like my Dominator. It's got this piece, this bolts underneath your neck, right underneath the forks, the brackets, the triple trees, and then this bolts up to this piece, and it's a very solid piece. And then you can see this mounts, I'd say this mounts where your engine guard mounts if you have one, and of course that bolts onto the FXR fairing. So overall, high quality piece. Like I said, by far the most expensive, and it's going to cost you an extra $400 to $500. And then of course it's going to cost you almost $800 if you're comparing it to the TCMT. So this video is getting long, guys. My opinion, solid option, based off of the fitment, the installation, easy, but of course you'll still have to sand it down, prep, paint, all that good stuff. I also just want to mention Villain to Hero. Of course, they've reached out and they mentioned they've been selling about 4 to 6 fairings per week, and they also have the color option, which is by far one of the better deals. Villain to Hero, once you factor in the prep, the paint, depending on who you go with, you're looking at $700 to $1,500 on just paint work. So if you're looking at probably saving $1 and you want it paint matched, to the bike, I believe they're only offering 3 colors as of right now: the white sand pearl and the unpainted and black, I believe, the Villain to Hero. But let's visit their website real quick. All right, so here it is real quick, guys. The FXRT from Villain to Hero. You have the 3 options. You have gloss black, which is $1,400. That's a pretty good deal. You also have gunship gray, $1,500, and you have white sand pearl, which is also $1,500 painted. Now, as far as the quality and the finish of the paint, I don't know what it looks like, but I mean, if you're looking at potentially not spending an additional $1,500 on top of the $2,000, like I said, you could reach out to a painter and ask them how much would something like that cost. It could be $700 to $1,500 depending on the person. But like I mentioned, you know, if you're looking for an overall, you know, with the finish, of course, then you know this is also there, and you could see the way this one mounts, kind of like the JD Customs, a little bit top and a little bit, you know, further away from the fuel tank. So I guess this mounts out, this bracket mounts up to kind of like you know, this one right here, which is a little bit high and a little bit away from the fuel tank. So I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? You know, the Villain to Hero seems to be like another good option if you're looking to save a little bit of money. So you guys stay out there, stay safe. You know, you guys could leave your comments down below, let me know which ones are you guys leaning towards. I'd still, you know, I'd say a very good option overall, well-made piece, you know, compared to some of the other stuff out there. Life's a risk, get out there and ride. Later.